The next item that we are to evaluate is the shrink-swell capacity of the soil. The shrink-swell capacity is related predominantly to the texture of the soil. More specifically, it's related to the amount and type of clay that would be found in that soil. Soils high in clay, especially the 2-to-1 or expanding clay minerals, have a very high shrink-swell capacity, whereas those that are low in clay will not shrink and swell to any great extent upon wetting and drying or freezing and thawing. So on the shrink-swell capacity, low corresponds to coarse textured soils, moderate to the loamy soils, and high to the high clay content soils. We only evaluate those two on dwellings without basements and local roads and streets, because if these soils were to expand and contract, they would cause problems with these structures, both the roads as well as the foundations of the homes that were built on them. Surface texture, we asked to determine whether it's loamy, sandy, or clay, so we've determined texture to a much finer degree than that in previous exercises. I'm not going to elaborate that point any, and it's only important for lawns, landscape, and golf fairways. Of course, we want loamy soils. That prevents the least amount of limitation or the least amount of restriction. Sandy soils are moderate, and heavy clay soils are very severe in terms of their utilization of the site for lawns, landscape, and golf fairways. Then we are asked to complete the final evaluation for this site. For the purpose of this evaluation, we have to look at the column above. So, for example, dwellings without basements, if that is what we're evaluating for the final evaluation down on the last item, we would look at the most restrictive feature. In other words, if all of the factors we had evaluated allowed this site to be utilized for that purpose with a moderate limitation, and only one was severe, we would still evaluate this site for that intended use, its final evaluation as being severe. So we have to do that for each one of these. Dwellings without basements, we take the most restrictive feature, and that is the final evaluation for that site. Lawns, landscaping, and golf fairways, if we had flooding that was occasional and it was a severe limitation, no matter how desirable this site was for all of the other utilizations or the other factors that we evaluated, our final evaluation for this intended use of this site would have to be severe. So the most restrictive feature, it's very much like the land capability class on the previous card. Whatever puts that land into the highest land capability class, that will be the final land class for that particular site. Here, whatever our highest degree of limitation is, that will be the final evaluation for that particular intended use or utilization of that site. So with this explanation of the home site evaluation, you should now be able to go to your packet of material. I would like you to view the tape, the laboratory number 2 on land evaluation. On this tape, you'll be asked to complete cards for 4 sites. One of those sites' intended use will be home site. For that particular site, it's indicated on the laboratory tape. You should complete a home site evaluation scorecard, which you'll find in your packet of materials for this unit in the class. You'll also have to complete the 3 evaluations of pit sites for the other intended uses other than the home site. And this will be how you will be scored on this particular laboratory exercise. So please watch the tape on land evaluation, the laboratory tape, and complete the exercises and send those in to me. Thank you.